This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Good day and welcome to Predators Proclivity. Yes, the third season of Predators Proclivity begins now. This is welcome to Predators Proclivity, a podcast where we look at data from the season for the NHL Nashville Predators and make comments upon it. Yes, we are in the 2025-2026 season. Yes. Yeah, who knew? I guess I need to do more work around the house. As I guess I have way too much time for this. So training camp is going on. Training camp started, I guess, technically Wednesday. This is Saturday, September 20th. And Wednesday was physicals, team meetings, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, they had training camp actually on the ice. Thursday was all practice. They broke everybody up into 3 groups. I didn't get there for the first group. The first group went off at 8:45, but I did see Group B and C. And then Friday, they had practice and scrimmages, and I got there in time for scrimmage with group. It was supposed to be Group BC, I guess. Like I saw 2 scrimmages in a row. And so I thought I got there too late for the first scrimmage, but I got there for the first scrimmage. And it must have been AB because there was people I didn't see from the previous day. But I think they changed things up too. I think each day the groups were different because Lucchini was in Group B or C on the first day, and then he was with Group A on the second day. So I think that kind of moved around. The first day they did have, and then we just keep going here. Then today they had a practice, and it was scheduled practice, scrimmage, practice, but they wound up just doing 2 long practices. It was practice Group C, scrimmage Group A and C, and what they really did was they just did practice A and practice B. So they did not split everybody. They split everybody up into 2 groups. There were 23 groups in the first group, or 23 people in the first group, and 24 in the second group. So yeah, 47. Yes, 47. We'll get to that number in a minute. Tomorrow is 2 games versus the Florida Panthers at Bridgestone Arena. I will not be going to that. Monday is a day off. Tuesday is a game versus Tampa Bay here in Bridgestone. I won't be at that. And then unfortunately, I can't make the practice on Wednesday. And then there is practice next Friday. So I hope to go to that. Next Thursday is some Gold Star Showcase. I'm not sure what that is. It's at night. No idea. And then the 27th, they have another game at Tampa Bay, and then a game on Sunday at Carolina. And so that's the training camp schedule. But yeah, I went to the 3 days of training camp, and when they were just doing the practice, they had people split into 3 different groups. They had some people wearing gold, some wearing blue, some wearing white. I don't think it mattered because there were new people who were wearing gold and new people that were wearing white. So I don't know how that got, excuse me, how that got split up or what the determination was. But that's just how it was. And they kind of worked in those groups in some ways, like when they were doing laps. It was funny. So anyway, so that is kind of a wrap up on the training camp schedule and my part to play in it. I'm going to take a quick break here because otherwise I'll forget.
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times. Or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months. Or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
Okay, so let's move in to, let's see. Transaction Watch is not the right name for this, but first let's go through and we'll talk about the 2025 draftees. Nashville did draft 7 players, and of those 7 players, 3 of them were actually there, but probably not the 3 that you'd think. The #1 draft pick, the first draft pick for the Predators, Brady Martin, the 5th pick overall. He has been signed to a 3-year contract. They'll pay him out about $997,000 a year. He was there. I finally noticed him in all these practices today. I don't know if I just missed him other days, and I tried to remember to pay attention, and I have nothing written down in my notes except that he was wearing number 44. So so nothing really to report there. Cameron Reed, who was also a first-round draft pick 21 for the Predators, was invited, but he's injured, so he was not there. And then in the 4th round, pick number 26 of that round, defenseman Alex Huang was there. And Alex Huang is, how old is he? He is, no, I'm not going to, looking at the wrong page. Alex Huang is 18. And so he looked 18, and but he was there at training camp. And one of the notes that I had today, he had a really hard shot. I didn't have much. He really looked a little bit out of it, kind of like he wasn't quite exactly sure. I mean, he looked just the expression on his face. He probably just looks that way, and he wasn't kind of out of it. He did notice the group of girls that were sitting near me at one point. Gibson, another guy who was there, he did too. So they were paying attention. Most of the time, the players don't look into the stands. I mean, we're in these small arenas, and so you're right next to the glass, and so are they. And they're really trying, or very practiced, not to look. But, they look every now and then. Like today at the end of practice, I did see Stamkos looking up into the stands. Yeah, in general. But I did think it was funny. I'm like, oh yeah, how old is he? Oh yeah, he's 18. Of course he's going to be this group of 4 young ladies who were paying no attention to what was going on. They had some long conversation going on between the 4 of them, but they were kind of cute and, and women. So, good for him. So those were the draftees that were here or not here. I think, wasn't Riker Lee, I think, was also invited. Not on the list. No. got Riker Lee on my mind for some reason. Anyway, then there were non-roster invitees who were given a tryout. Some of these under contract for the tryout. Forward Daniel Carr, who's 33, and back in the 2019-2020 season played for 11 games for Nashville. So then he played with Washington. He played 6 games at Washington the next year, and then I guess he's been playing in the Swiss League. So some people in the Nashville organization may have some familiarity with him at 33. I, in general, wasn't very impressed the first day when they started doing laps. He was gassed. And maybe he just put it all out there when they were doing all the practices, and that could be. But he was just gassed, and he's a little undersized. But I did notice that he did have a pretty good move in close and made a nice pass today. So forward Dylan Gambrell, who's 29, Cleveland Monsters. He was also there. Nothing really to say about him, I don't believe. Zach Hayes of the Lavelle Rockets. Back in the 2021-2022 season, he played for 3 games for the Knights. I missed that Gambrell back in 2022-2023 did play 60 games for Ottawa, so he has played at the major ranking. Defenseman Hayes, where do I have Hayes? Yeah, right there at the bottom. Yeah. And Kyle Marino, forward Kyle Marino, he's been in the last 3 years in the AHL and last year played for our Milwaukee Admirals. He impressed me. He actually really did impress me. And so I've got him ranked pretty high on my list. He's there on a tryout agreement, which is interesting because his contract must be with Milwaukee, but he has a tryout agreement to be here, and I thought he looked pretty good. Not good enough to crack the starting list for the season, but good enough to. I think if we needed to call somebody up, I think he'd be in that list. And then defenseman Chad Nychuk, who's 24, and he split last season between Atlanta and Milwaukee. He was also up there, and I think he's another one of those. I didn't. It's kind of hard to see everybody, and then you're trying to figure out who this person is. You haven't got the best view. Trying to figure out who this person is. So only if you see something that makes you notice would be the times that call it out, good or bad, right? Good or bad. Carr had a couple of bad moments. Had a couple good moments. And so Nychuk, I don't think I had anything on Nychuk. Then we go to goalie Symptom Helter. 23 was with the University of North Dakota, and he actually looked pretty good. I'll say I was. They had 7 goaltenders here at training camp, and interestingly enough, I think Saros had more goals scored on him than anybody else, and then Noonan, and I know Noonan got one. I think he was really kind of annoyed, at least at one of them. But the other goaltenders I thought looked pretty good. Now, the Septum Helter, TJ, he's 6'1" and 190, so he's 23, but probably ought to put a few pounds on a little bit. And we did have Jacob, not sure how he says it, probably Jacob Malota, another goaltender who is 19. And he was not there today. They had 2 groups, the A and B, and they had 3 goaltenders in each. And so I did notice that Malota was not there today in either of those groups. But he's 19, and he was the Predators. He was a fourth-round pick for the Predators back in 2024, so last year. But he is currently unsigned. So, but yeah, 6'1", 178, and 19. So, maybe something for the future. But I thought he did fine. Actually, I think the little bit that you got to see of the goaltenders, they all looked very comfortable. I tried to pay attention when there was a rush turning and heading their way, and how did they get prepared and how did they look. And then there were some drills that they were doing where they were close in to the goaltender, and how do they fight for position and try to keep things out. And I think they all did pretty well. Thank you for that, or that goal. Me and my goaltenders. Having watched Jonathan Quick for so many years, really, a good goaltender can really make the big difference in your team. So, and then the last non-roster invitee, which I don't believe I saw, was Oasis. I don't know how to say his name. Weisblatt, Ozzy Weisblatt's brother. So Ozzy Weisblatt and Oasis Weisblatt, and I don't think either of them were there. But this Weisblatt has spent 6 years with the Medicine Hat Tigers. He was also there on for a tryout. And before I get long-winded and go on with the rest of the non-roster invitees, let's take a little break here.
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times, or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months, or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
Okay, so then another non-roster invitees, defenseman Scott Harrington, 32 years old, who was with the Springfield Thunderbirds, which is an AHL team for St. Louis. Back in the 2022-2023 season, he played 17 games for Anaheim. So he has some NHL experience. Harrington, I guess the only thing I did notice is at the end of practice today, Harrington was working with England. And other than that, I don't think I have a whole lot to say about Harrington. Forward Isaac Ratcliffe, 26, 6 years in the AHL. Not much there either. And then forward Victor Noringer, who's 19. And he is going to be playing for the Muskegon Lumberjacks this season, but was at an invitee to hang out and took that opportunity. He is 19. And 6'4", 199 pounds. So, as he gets a little bit older and puts on some weight, could somebody to watch for. I think that's kind of interesting about this whole process is seeing, who is there and who's not there, and the younger players, and kind of maybe over time you can watch them develop and see how they, get better over time, which is kind of exciting. I used to do that with NASCAR, and then I don't watch NASCAR anymore. But I used to watch all of the ARCA and the Menard systems, and it was kind of fun. You see all these young kids and how they run the races, and then you see them come up and see how they do, and. So I think doing this in hockey, that's got to be very exciting. One of the things that's got to be kind of interesting for the coaches over the years is seeing how they've worked with the different players and how they develop. And then amateur invitees, and not sure how that works. We had defenseman Hayden Barch, who's 18 years old. He spent the last half year in the Ottawa Hockey League. And forward Alex Kostov, who's 19, 3 years in the OHL. And I like Barch. I do. I have got him. I've got him on my list. Not in the top 6. No, I mean the Preds are so heavy in highly paid defensemen that it's going to cracking into the starting 6 is going to be tough work for anybody. And but Barch, 6'1", 200 pounds, which is no slouch. There on the amateur tryout, and we'll see. Alex Kostov, 6'4", he's 19, 208 pounds. So he's filled out. Needs to develop some skill. Could be somebody to watch in the future. And then people that are missing, Luke Evangelista, 23-year-old, contract dispute. I think what I was reading, that they were supposed to start negotiating again yesterday. What I understand to be the issue is that, sorry, my voice, it's late in the day. My voice isn't so great. Apologize for that. If it's annoying you, it's annoying me too. And if it's not bothering you, I'm sorry I brought it up. What I understand is that the Preds would like to lock him into a longer-term contract. He would like a shorter-term contract. I don't know. He is a restricted free agent. They did give him a qualifying offer, which I believe means 10% more than what he made last year. And so they did make that qualifying offer, so he was not eligible for other players other teams to get him. But they're having a hard time with coming to an agreement, and it is unfortunate that training camp is going on and that hasn't been resolved. So, and then the other person missing is defenseman Tanner Molendyk, who is 20. Where's Molendyk? Yeah, he's the first round pick back in 2023. So I don't know anything about him except he's got a lower body injury, and that the Preds have signed him to a 3-year contract paying him $886,000 a year. He was playing with Medicine Hat in the WHL and with the Saskatoon. So, that's those are the people that supposedly I was going to see or not see. So there you go.
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times. Or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months. Or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
All right, so training camp summary. I think I hit on this a little bit earlier. I have my script. I come up with things, and then I kind of get extemporaneous. So things don't make sense to me that I wrote down. When I wrote down and came up, I thought it made a lot of sense, and then when I start talking, it doesn't. But the training facility has 2 rinks. So when you walk through the door, there's one right there, and then you keep going to the left, and then there's another one. They are both NHL-sized rinks, is my understanding. One doesn't look that much bigger. And the reason I point that out, back when I was in Los Angeles, I worked as a scorekeeper for the amateur hockey games there, and one of the rinks was Olympic size because they had a lot of people who were practicing figure skaters. And the figure skaters need to practice on Olympic-sized rink. But they did practice hockey on the Olympic-sized rink, but then they had the NHL and but NHL-sized rink as well. They also had an outdoor, or they had a roller hockey rink outside, covered, but outside. And the Lakers practiced there too, but you couldn't get into that and watch anything as far as I know. The Lakers were on the other side. So I assume there was at least one basketball court at that Toyota Center. But this facility has two rinks, and it seems like they practice, for a practice, they do half the time on one rink and then they go over to the other rink. Fine, whatever. That way they have pretty decent ice. When I did notice that when they were doing scrimmages between since they had three different groups, A, B, and C, when the scrimmages were going on with two teams, one of the teams could be practicing. So they could have been using both rinks, something going on in both of those. So that's how that worked. The scrimmage, there was only one period. They did have refs. They had one ref and two linesmen. And it was only one period, so there was no long change sort of situation. And so that's how the scrimmages work. Practices, they would generally have a goaltender on each end of the court, each end of the ice. Although today, or actually yesterday too, on one end of the ice, they pulled out a third net, and they kind of had it sit to the side, and somehow they've got these things on the bottom of it that kind of keep the nets from moving around a lot. And so they actually had three nets on the ice for a little while with kind of a 5-on-5 going half ice on one side, and then 2-on-2 battles with the two goaltenders. So they have three goaltenders out there as well. Kind of interesting. And then today, they brought both goals down to the same side. It was really fun. What looked like it was a really fun sort of camp. They had the blue and gold, which is all they had today, blue and gold. And so on one side, blue would be on offense and yellow would be on defense. And on the other side, blue would be on defense and gold would be on offense. I think I got that right. And then there would be a person of the offensive team at the blue line, and when the defensive team recovered the puck, so the person at the blue line would shoot the puck in, the four people would fight for the puck, the offensive team trying to score, the defensive team trying to get the puck. If the defensive team gets the puck, they would pass it to the guy at the blue line of their team, who would then shoot it at the other goaltender, and then the process would recur on the other one. The offensive players could always pass the puck back out to the blue line and kind of reset. It looked like it was a really fun kind of drill. And that all happened on one side of the ice. And so that's kind of how all of that worked. There were a number of other drills that they did. Things generally they started off one on guys skating in by themselves on the goaltender shooting, and then they'd have two people, and then they do a recovery in the neutral zone with two, and they would come in passing and then take shots at the ref. And then it looked like there was some 5-on-2, and then they'd use the whole ice. And so 5 offensive players coming down, the puck being shot in, and the only two people playing defense, which would not just be defensemen, it would be offensive players too, having to recover the puck and get it out. And then when they got it out, then they would go to the other end, and 3 people would join them, and then then 2 people would be playing defense for the other guys. So it was kind of a very fluid, really kind of a lot of fun to watch, frankly. It gave you some opportunities to watch players in different sort of capacities, to see their ability to pass in traffic or not pass in traffic, and shooting, and just a lot of different scenarios, and you could kind of see them. And a lot of time the action was constant. So kind of like a game. And so the players were all put kind of in very game situations. So that was really really pretty interesting. I mentioned the goaltenders, the skaters would be in gold, blue, and white. Today they were just gold and blue. All the goaltenders wear blue. There's nobody's wearing white. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. But anyway, so that's kind of how that all went down. And so next up, I will review what I think to be the order for each of the positions.
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times, or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months, or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
Did I really say positions? Positions. I guess I did. Okay, so so this is the ranking that I have. Not necessarily how, at least initially, how I would rank them. But what I did first, I said, okay, look, the thing of it is, Roman Yossi's got he's 3-year, $9 million contract. He's playing, Forsberg, $8.5 million. He's playing, he's not. That's just the way it is. So there's no sense doing it. So the first thing I did was I said, okay, fine, let's take all the really high paid players and list them. And this is not right wing, left wing, center. That's not how I'm doing it. It's just forward, defensemen, and goaltenders. Okay, that's how they have them listed. And we all know these guys play all over the place. It's really kind of there might be some of the players might be better at right wing than left wing, or they might prefer center over left wing. But in the end, most of the forwards will play wherever based upon the situation. And maybe they won't, but anyway, that's not how I'm looking at it. It's just here's a list of the forwards. Okay, so we got Philip Forsberg's the highest paid player on the offense, in the forwards. So he's there. Stamkos is second. Jonathan Marchessault is third. And then we've got Ryan O'Reilly is fourth. Actually, I guess he and Michael Bunting are paid about the same, $4.5 million. And then we get to Eric Haula, somebody they just signed. And he's got a 1-year, $3 million contract. So that right there, you've got Forsberg, Stamkos, Marchessault, O'Reilly, Bunting, and Haula. Those are 6. Most likely, that's your first and second line. However they figure it out, and I'll give this away. At the end of today's practice, O'Reilly, Stamkos, and Forsberg were working together. So at least in the games tomorrow, if they play against Florida, but at least I think in the training camp games, that will be a line. O'Reilly, Forsberg, Stamkos, most likely the first line, which would then say that Marchessault, Bunting, and Haula would be next. All right, that's easy. Okay, so now we're down. That's all our really highly paid forwards. I say that, and I kept having to remind myself, $1 million is no chunk change. As I'm sitting here, this guy's only getting $775. Like, yeah, for instance, I was looking at, where is he? Come on. Not Ryan. Michael McCarron. Thank you. I'm looking at Michael McCarron, $900,000 a year. Hey, kidding? I'd take that. Just kind of surprised, Michael McCarron seems to be a real staple around here, And, Cole Smith makes $1 million. And Michael McCarron is suffering, let me tell you, at $900,000 a year. I don't know how he does it. It's just kind of one of those weird mindsets, when you're sitting there and you're looking, oh yeah, he's making league minimum. He's only getting $800,000 a year. He's 20 years old. He's making $800,000 a year. Yeah, I think he's doing okay. I think he's going to be all right. I think he'll be able to pay his rent this month. But anyway, so so your top six, and then we kind of get into the Cole Smith, Michael McCarron. I think those are next on the list. And now you're going to hear people you haven't heard before. Maybe you have, not normally. Now the problem is Luke Evangelista will probably be one of the top 12 if he signs a contract. Just was looking things up. Everybody expects there to be a contract. So I've got him in my top 12, but he's not next. Matthew Wood, number 71. I don't know. I don't. Some of these people might change their numbers. I don't know. So, you're training camp and you're taking whatever number you've got. If somebody else has got your number, then you figure it out. If that person doesn't make the team, then you get your old number back. I don't know. He was 71 in training camp, and that guy I noticed. Matthew Wood, I think wicked shot in the practice yesterday. He had two. Really, at least two. I missed who scored the first goal because I was too busy. Something had happened, and I was trying to. I think I was still trying to identify the goaltender at the time, and so somebody scored. There was another goal that happened, and I couldn't really figure out who had scored it in the end either. So, but Wood scored two in a row. The second and third goals were scored by him. Wicked. And he, at the end of today's practice, he was out there. I told you that Forsberg and O'Reilly and Stamkos were kind of working together. And they would do this passing around, kind of like a power play, kind of pass it around, then somebody take a shot, and then they do that kind of twice, and then the guy who was shooting would skate in, and there'd be a shot, and he'd try to redirect it into the goal. And so they were rotating who was doing what there. And then after that, Wood came in, and so then they started working with Wood on the same thing. So I've got a pretty good feeling Wood is going to be up there. I mean, I don't think this stuff at the end happens extemporaneously. And, some guy, like if Daniel Carr had been just skating over there and go, hey, guys, can I cut in? I don't think it works that way. Not sure. But after they did this for a while, then O'Reilly and Wood were working together on plays behind the net. And so I think that's a really good sign. He's 6'4", 202. He played for Minnesota, and I got him listed Nashville, but he played for Nashville last year. I don't know. He was the first round pick in 2023, so he's 20. First round pick out of 2023. Played for Minnesota last year. Signed to a 2-year contract, $950K a year for the next 2 years. So I think Wood is going to be up there in the third line. That's just I don't think he's a fourth liner. I don't know how a fourth liner is supposed to be like a shutdown line or a boost of energy line. I don't think he's that kind of player. I think he's a third line, potentially second line player. Wicked shot. And like I said, 6'4", 202 pounds. And then, Luke Evangelista. And then Jacob Lucchini. He really impressed me. He was like the first guy that I kept, just the way he moves on the ice, the way he skates, the way he gets through. The one thing I would say about Wood is when they were setting him up and he was taking shots, did not look like he had a hard shot. I mean, they're all talk about a hard shot. Oh my God, Forsberg. I thought he was going to put a hole in the back of the not the net, in the boards. Wow. He did a couple of those going to one knee and taking shots, and it was holy crap. Sorry, that is not the impression I had when I saw Michael Wood taking shots. So I think his shot, they need to work on that. But Jacob Lucchini with Milwaukee, he's 30. Now he's 30, so he's a little older. He's 6 foot, but he really impressed me the first day. What did I? But yeah, I think he could be. I got to go find this. Oh, stupid Leroux. Never mind. Yeah, Lucchini, I think he's got a good shot. That's what I wrote down. He's got a good shot. I think he moves really well. I would search him. I kept looking for him because I thought that just kind of the way he moves on the ice, he just kind of he drew my eye. And the other person that drew my eye quite a bit, it was Cole O'Hara. Cole O'Hara, who last year, I guess, split time between the University of Massachusetts and Milwaukee. Now, he's 23, 6 foot 189. Also on a contract, 2-year, $860,000 a year. He's sneaky. That was the thing I thought about him. He's kind of, it's like one of those things where, he's looking one way, kind of the behind the pack pass in basketball would be, he's just sitting there tooling along. The next thing you know, he backhand pass to somebody. Just very sneaky. I think he good stick. And so I was also kind of watching for him whenever I saw him on the ice. So he got a quick pass. I don't think I ever wrote anything down. Oh, he had a bad redirect at the blue line. They might lack a little bit of power. So they were on offense, and the puck came to him, and he tried to scoot it across the ice to the other side, and it didn't make it. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I think that's it. So that's my top 12. He's 2-year, $860,000. And the person, if I kind of go back and forth. So that's my top 12, but 13th is Reed Schaefer. 6'5", 226 pounds. He's 22, played with Milwaukee last year. 2-year contract, entry-level contract, $886,000 a year. Reed Schaefer, he in traffic. I think he's generally slow. But in traffic, slow, he's a forward. But in traffic, it's like he was skating across from one side of the ice to the other. There must have been 3 people trying to take the puck from him. He's just keep the puck with me, and just came through them all. And I'm like, wow. So I think he really got some skill there. So I'm kind of excited that he might actually get to play too. Now he's 6'5", 226. So Cole O'Hara, 6 foot 189. If they feel like they need more size, then I could see Reed moving up, and Cole moving down. Yeah, I think that's it. And so I don't know what's going to happen with Evangelista. Maybe he'll have to sign a contract, and they'll send him to Milwaukee for a while. Yeah, and then finally we get to. Maybe I'll stop and take a break here real quick. We'll get back to number 1 draft pick of this year.
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times. Or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months. Or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
Okay, so Brady Martin. Brady Martin would be next. Again, pretty much just, I guess, because I feel like he's got to be there. #1 draft pick. They signed him. He's 6 foot, 185. He's 18. I probably needs some seasoning. Probably wouldn't hurt to have him play in Milwaukee. I don't know how they do this kind of stuff. I wish I did, but I don't see him being on the big club. Nothing he did impressed me. Nowhere. Well, I mean, it didn't do anything stupid. But yeah, Zvechkov. Now, the big lie here with Zvechkov is it says he's 6 foot tall and 187. If he's 6 foot tall, if he's 6 foot tall, then I'm under 6. I must be like 5'11", and I'm 6'2". I'm looking at him going, he's taller than that. I don't know if he grew and they just haven't updated his records. And I was trying to, when he would skate by somebody else, he went by somebody, I'm like, oh, that person's 6'3". It's like, oh yeah, Zvechkov is taller than 6 foot. But if you can believe any of these things, but he's taller than other people that are 6 foot tall. That much I'm sure of. And I don't think he's got like extra large skates. I was checking that out too. Like, maybe he's got elevator hockey shoes. I don't know that there's such a thing. Yes, I would like to be 6'4" when I'm skating. Can you give me some hockey boots with 4 inches of lift? I don't think they have that. But anyway, yeah. So Zvechkov, and then David Edstrom played well. He's also another guy. He's 3-year contract, $886. He was with San Jose. Got him from San Jose back in August of 2024. He was been playing in Sweden. And then quickly here, I guess Kyle Marino, who was on a tryout agreement, is then, so he's in my second 12. I was impressed. I just really thought he had a good way about him. Now he's 30. Played with Milwaukee last year, so he's experienced. 6'3", 220. But yeah, I think I saw him wrestling with some of the defensemen, and I'm like, holy cow, he really can maintain his position. And then from here, I got Ozzy Weisblatt, even though he wasn't at the training camp, because next up is Zachary Leroux, who I have totally just given up on. There was this one point where, where's Ufko? Oh, no, he's a defenseman. He was skating in, and Saros was in goal, and Leroux did this. I know that's not that. Leroux is the French pronunciation of his last name, Leroux. But if he pronounces it Leroux, however, I can't even say it. I have to hear the announcer say it. However he pronounces it is how he pronounces it. But they did this happy feet thing where he kind of like did a couple dance steps as he was skating in, and I'm like, what the? And of course, Saros was like, yeah, is that all you got? So I'm not thrilled with him. I think he's a liability, personally. His personality is a liability. Maybe he does rub people the wrong way, and you can use that, but I don't know. Let's just go a little bit quicker here. I got, because most of these I don't really have anything to say. Not even exactly sure why I would have listed them this way, but Joachim Kamel, Navrin Muter, Isaac Ratcliffe, Callan Lind, Ryder Rolston, who I really, really wanted to rank higher because he is a Notre Dame grad, and then Hiroki Gajstik, not sure if I'm saying that right, and another guy who would do something good, but not really that good. Joey Willis, Alex Kostov, who's one of the amateur tryout guys. He did, when I had it down here, that Kostov did, he beat somebody. Because didn't really write everything down, but he made somebody look bad, or did somebody make him look bad? Lots of notes. And I'm trying not to just sit here and read all of my notes, but I guess that's kind of what I'm sitting here doing. Yeah. And Austin Roast, who was, if you listen to my things last year, he was supposed to be coming off injured reserve any day now. He's also got a 2-year, $845,000 contract. Another guy just didn't see it. Then at the end, Daniel Carr, the 33-year-old, talked a lot about him already. Dylan Gambrell, who's with Cleveland in the AHL, another tryout agreement. Oasis Weisblatt. Again, I don't think he was there. And Victor Noringer, he's last. And reason he's last is because he's playing with the Muskegon Lumberjacks this season. That's already been determined, so it doesn't matter. He's 6'4", 199 pounds, 19. Somebody to watch him for in the future, but definitely not this year with the Preds. And so that is the 32 forwards. Whew, boy.
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times, or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months, or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
Okay, so defensemen. There's only 21 of these, so this ought to be quicker. Again, ranked by initially their contract status. We got Roman Josi, $9 million, 3 years. Brady Skay, 5 years, $7 million. Most of those, no trade, no, don't even talk to me, don't even look at me, kind of stuff. Third up, Nicholas Hague, got him from Vegas, 4 years, $5.5 million. Nick Perbix, the big unrestricted free agent signing from Tampa Bay, 2 years, $2.75 million. And so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the top 4. Six defensemen take the ice. And so then next we got Justin Barron. He's got a 1-year, $1.15 million contract. But my positioning him at 5th is frankly more because of how I think he played last year after we brought him in, because he really made a difference in our defense last year. And so I didn't really see a lot in training camp to recommend him, but I didn't see anything not to. So that would be 5. And then Ryan Ufko. I hope I'm saying that right. Ryan Ufko. He's 22, 174 pounds, 6 foot. And he was the second guy that I noticed. And when Lucchini and Ufko were both on the ice, I'm like, all right, here you go. Let's see, they did the laps. Yeah, Lucchini and Ufko were the fastest in the white group. In the first lap, Ufko was definitely the fastest in the second, and then Noringer was the fastest in the third in the white group. Oh yeah, it was funny. In the first day, Group B, Stamkos was in gold, and he apparently every time I saw him on the ice skating, he wants to be ahead of everybody. He's skating faster than everybody, and I thought that was funny. Somebody today, who was it? Somebody today was keeping up with him when he was skating around. Somebody was right behind him, and I know Stamkos doesn't. It doesn't seem to me like Stamkos is waiting for somebody to be there, So, trying to see if I can find in my notes where doing because they had this drill where they would be up against the boards and fighting for the puck, and then Harrington. I guess. And then they would go do laps. And so, kind of being out in front kind of depends on where you're at because they're all around the boards. And so the whole everybody that's doing fighting on the boards on one end of the ice are all going to go start skating. But Stamkos, I guess, was nearest to the blue line. And so he was leading the group. But I guess Harrington was keeping up. Skibas right behind him. So at Ufko, one of those guys I think that that definitely could break into the top six. And then after Ufko would be Adam Wilsby. I like Wilsby, and of everybody at training camp, Wilsby had the intensity. They're doing these drills. He's taking people into the boards. I mean, no, I wasn't hearing the board shake unless Wilsby was on the ice. I mean, he was taking people now more louder than it was for a hit, I'm sure. But Wilsby definitely had the intensity. He's trying to make the team. He's trying to show he deserves to be there, and I think he did. He doesn't make my top six. Tough to do that when we've got Haig and Perbix up there, and I don't think you can pull Barron out, and I just think Ufko is deserving of the top six. But Wilsby could be the first call up, right? And then Jordan Osterley, Andreas England, Tanner Molendijk, and he wasn't at. He had the lower body injury. He wasn't there, but based upon his draft position and contract status, I think he's probably that's where I ranked him. Cameron Reed is next, same thing, upper body injury, so he wasn't there either. Another first round pick from this past year, so he's 18, 6 foot, 179 pounds. So I don't think he's ready to play at the top level because he needs to fill out a little bit, get a little bit older. And then Spencer Stastny, another Notre Dame guy, really was hoping to see something good. My wife having gone to Notre Dame, any reason to pull for somebody, right? So he went to Notre Dame, so I'd like to see him do well. I didn't see it. He didn't, nothing, wow. Didn't really seem to make any mistakes. But I actually paid attention to him when I was, should have just been looking at people to catch my eye, and I had to go find him. So he was not catching my eye in a good or bad way. And then Nick Blankenberg, I've soured on him. I really have. Can't really get why, but I guess maybe he's got a lot of energy. And so that's his calling. 5'9", 177 pounds. Yeah. So, and then Hayden Barch. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6 was Ufko, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stasny would be my second. 6. I think I've got my notes around here somewhere. I should just look at that instead of counting into the microphone. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, Stasny would be. So my first 6 ends with Ufko, my second 6 ends with Stasny, and then Barch. Hayden Barch, 6'1", 200 pounds. He's 18. They're on an amateur tryout, and I somebody to watch for in the future. Maybe not with the Preds, but somewhere down the line it will be. And then Alex Wong, we've talked about him. Today I was watching and just trying to see if people caught my eye, and the one person to catch my eye was Andrew Gibson. He was at the end of my third group of 6, and I moved him up, I guess, just one spot, just behind Jack Metier, who did a couple things today to impress me. So we got Huang, Metier, Gibson, then Chad Nychuk, who's there on a tryout agreement. And then breaks my heart, Kevin Gravel next, along with Scott Harrington and Zach Hayes. Harrington and Hayes, they're on tryout agreements. Gravel had a couple times where he had good sticks. To me, he's slow. I just, when I see him out there, it just does not seem that he can keep up. Now, if he can get his stick out there, if he can be close in, he'll take the puck away. Don't want to. He's 33. He's got a 1-year, $775,000 contract. I don't see it. It kind of makes me sad. He played for the Kings. One day I'll stop saying stuff like that. Hey, speaking of the Kings, Anze Kopitar has announced that this is his final season. So, big news there.
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times, or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months, or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
Okay, so goaltenders, this is going to be quick. 7 goaltenders. And top of the list, UC Saros, the $7 million man. Speaking of $7 million men, I don't think I brought this up. Brady Skay, the first day, actually made me think he can play. He had a nice shot, some good defense. He missed an easy pass. At one point, I thought, and then when would see him playing as part of 5-on-5, I think he's an offensive defenseman. I don't like the way he plays defense. I didn't see it again, but he did do a couple of things on the first day that made me say, okay, maybe he's not as bad as I think he is. Well, I'm sure he can't possibly be as bad as I think he is. He's got to be better, and hopefully, this season we'll just see a lot different play out of him and Marchessault, Stamkos, and pretty much everybody on the team. Last year was not what we were hoping for. And so anyway, so UC Saros, top paid goaltender. He's got a 5-year contract, $7.74 million. He's 30, 5'11", 180. So he's the shortest guy out there. But he's first. And I might be wrong here. I'm not. Second I've got listed as Justus Annunen because he was the backup last year. 6'4", 210. He's 25. I got him listed as second because he was the backup last year. But third, I've got Matt Murray, who could be the backup. He was with Milwaukee last year, a 2-year, $775,000 contract. Magnus Krona, also with Milwaukee, 6'6", 225. All these guys played well. I'm not there when they're doing whatever it is that they're doing to evaluate these guys. So but Matt Murray and Magnus Krona, I think they exhibited really good net presence, and either one of them I think could be the backup, frankly. Okay, there's no secret. If you've been listening to my podcast for any length of time, I'm not a Saros fan. I'm just not. I watch him play. I just think he gives up too many soft goals. When we first got here to Nashville, it wasn't his fault. There would always be somebody by themselves in front of the goaltender, nobody else around, and sure enough, they'd score. And that's not Saros' fault. I've been around hockey enough to know when I think it's not the goaltender's fault. I just think that Saros, even last year, especially early, would give up soft goals. And I don't like that. And he just continues to do it. And I think at this point, I just am never going to be a Saros fan. I'm sure he's a fine guy. I don't know him personally. I'm not commenting on anything like that. I've run into people and had conversations, and they love Saros. And I know a lot of people do. And I think that's great. Even when I didn't live here, I watched Pekka Rinne. How do you replace Pekka Rinne? Just a fantastic goaltender. And Saros is solid. He would not be playing if he wasn't good. I'm 6'2". I'm taller than he is. I'm heavier than he is. I ain't going out there. And you put me out there in them pads, you just may as well just count them. You need a scoreboard. You need a bigger scoreboard for the number of goals that would go in. Not a chance. Not a chance for me. I got it. Not my area of expertise, but I'd like to like him. I just don't. I just don't like the way he plays. I didn't like the way Wedgwood played either. I was really glad to see a Noonan come in there. Wedgwood just kind of all over the place. At least Saros isn't that. Saros is predictable. You know where he's going to be. He's not going to do anything dumb. I think he just has this lack of concentration at times, and he gives up soft goals. And I saw a bunch of goals go in on him. It's training camp. Probably everybody out there wants to score on Saros. When they come in there and they're skating up on Saros, they're going to try to put out their A game. If they're going to score, they want it. Saros. You score on TJ Semptom-Helter, the 23-year-old out of North Dakota who, you're like, I scored on Semptom. But hey, Saros, how'd you like that goal, huh? How'd you like that? You like that? You want some more of that? So, there's probably some of that. I did see, like I said, I saw Noonan gave up a goal. He was really pissed. Forsberg had a couple of really, really good goals. That's not the ones. Well, one of them might have been because Forsberg kind of came in on a Noonan, kind of did some little move, and then just calmly just kind of passed the puck, just a little small pass between the pads. Totally had a Noonan thinking something else and just slid it right between the legs. Didn't even shoot it hard. It was like, ugh, stoned. Anyway, so Saros, to that say, I guess if Saros wasn't going to be the starter, I mean, right now I think maybe Murray over a Noonan. But I'd say the stable of goaltenders here are really good. Ethan Hayter was out there. I thought he played really well. I guess he was between Milwaukee and Atlanta. He was a 5th round pick, 2019. And I went back and checked because I did see that Atlanta Gladiators game last year. He was not the one in goal. It was another goaltender. So, which kind of gets back to what I was talking about, or starting to talk about earlier, is I went back to the list of Milwaukee Admirals last year. I'm like, okay, well, let's see who, some of the people from Milwaukee got tryouts, some didn't. I don't know who's signed. I don't know who's not. It's kind of funky that way. But the top goal scorer for Milwaukee was not invited to camp. So I don't know. I don't know how they decide who does what. But Hayter was with Milwaukee and Atlanta last year, and like I said, he was on the bench. That was, if I remember right, the Stingrays. The South Carolina Stingrays won that game, which it's too bad. I was there with my brother who lives in Charleston. So we didn't realize till, we were going to go down and see them. We're like, hey, let's go see a game. Yeah, Stingrays, that's great. Oh, wait a minute. Atlanta is affiliated with the Predators. Oh, I gotta do something else. So we wore Predator stuff to the game, but unfortunately Atlanta won. I think they're called the South Carolina Stingrays. I think they won. And then Jacob Belota, however you say either first or last name, I thought he played pretty well. He was 4th round pick in 2024. He's 19, 6'1", 178 pounds. So I think he needs some time. And then Simptom Helter. They're on a tryout agreement. So I think all that all pretty good. So who knows what they're going to do, right? No idea how this is going to work out. It'd be kind of interesting. I never went to training camp. This my 3rd year doing this, 3rd season or 2.5 season doing this podcast, and just happened to go and look out there, and I'm like, oh, training camp. Oh, what do you know? Let's go. So kind of got lucky that I heard about it. There was rookie. I'd seen something about rookie games last week, and or prospect games, whatever they were. The Preds, I guess the rookie camp was earlier in the month, and they went down to Florida and they played Tampa Bay, Florida, and I forget Carolina. I forget what 4th team was. And trying to find what the score was, seeing these stats that you thought I was trying to hack up some NSA secrets or something. The Preds won 2 out of 3 games. They lost the 3rd game to Florida. They beat Tampa Bay in the prospect games. No idea what the stats were. Can't figure it out. Nashville doesn't want to tell you about it. The NHL doesn't want to tell you about it. There's got to be these stats somewhere. I didn't figure out how to find out. But anyway, along the way, I did figure out training camp was this week. So I did make it there. And so I am interested to see if the Preds agree with me And I think, from a defenseman standpoint, like I said, 4 out of 6, pretty much set in stone. The other 2, Barron, Ufko, Wilsby, Osterley, England. Those are the next 5. England, I think, was solid for us. I think we're going to have a pretty decent defensive core this year. Shouldn't have the issues that we did last year at the beginning of the season, so we will not be losing 5 games in the row. I don't have to worry about being in the gas station wearing a Predators shirt and people coming up to me going, "Are they ever going to win a game?" So I think the defensive core is pretty set. I think the top 2 lines on the offense are pretty set, and I'm pretty excited about it. I think that they had last season, they've had the off season. Oh, I will say this: I did notice that when Yossi was skating around, his skating partner was generally Nicholas Hague. So I am betting, even though they're both left-handed, I am betting at least in the games here in training camp that Yossi and Hague will be the initial starting forwards. Skay, I think, was second line until Yossi got hurt. Yossi looks good. Supposedly he's got some strange ailment, I guess, that could arise at any time. But yeah, he looked good out there. Good. It was good seeing him skating well. So Brady Skay will probably be on the second line. Nick Perbix probably with him, and then Baron Ufko. I'm telling you, I'm excited to see Ufko out there. He's 6 foot, 174 pounds, so he would be the smallest. Wilsby 6'1", 188. Osterley is 6 foot, 181. England is 6'4", 200. So Ufko, I think he'd be exciting to see. Third line defenseman, maybe second line. Ufko and Skay together, probably not. But Ufko definitely on the power play, one of the defensive pairings on the power play. I think that'd be good. And then the other 6 for offense, I think solid again. Smith, McCarron, Wood. I'm telling you, Wood. Watch for Wood. And then Wood, Lucchini, and O'Hara. I really hope I at least get to see one of those guys at the beginning of the season playing with the Preds. So it'd be exciting to see all 3. At least 2. Come on, guys, give me 2. I think Wood Wood for sure. And then Lucchini, O'Hara. Yeah. Anyway, so that's my recap on training camp. 3 days in. The season's coming up. Tomorrow is 2 games against the Florida Panthers at Bridgestone Arena. And then training camp will end next Sunday with a game against the Carolina Hurricanes. And then that's preseason, buddy. And then it's go to the Stanley Cup Finals. All right. Hey, thanks for listening. And I'm Preston Proctor. You've been listening to Predators Proclivity.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams Super Sale and get 40% off paints and stains September 19th through the 24th. With prices starting at $29.39, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your interior or exterior, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store or shop the sale online. Delivery available on qualifying orders. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.